I'm in the...
What do you guys want to talk about? Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Brian. With me always is...
Oh, I'm Mark.
That's right. Dude, that is a killer opening.
You like that one?
Oh, my God.
I found something online, and I was like, oh, what the hell? You know, I might as well just pop it on there and see.
It's kind of scary.
Well, the other one I have, I actually made two different ones for it. Oh, Steven. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. We were a few minutes
Maurice,
late.
what's happening, my guy? How are you?
Maurice, can't wait to see your movie when it comes out. But once you get it up more together, we're gonna have you on. Turn that shit up down.
My bad. So you want to tell everybody what's happening right now? I know everybody's on the edge of their seat. They're like, wait a minute. This is for CJ Graham.
We are waiting for CJ to come in.
Okay.
He is having a little bit of a problem with the link. Keeps making him try to. I don't know why. Keeps asking him to sign into Facebook.
I bet you can ask Steven this question, and he'll probably be able to fix it. You probably sent it with a Facebook link or something.
No, it's the same link I send to everybody. It says link. You send it to the guest. That's what you do.
Okay.
I'm not new to this. Shut up, Steven. Not much, man. Demon might be unleashed.
Okay, listen. If you have to read out loud because you need to learn to read.
Hey, I was doing two things at once, so.
If you guys are watching and you have not heard of the Stephen Jarvis podcast, Stephen is actually doing something a little bit different now.
Actually, it's not Stephen Jarvis podcast. It's
Jarvis.
I think
Friends.
it's Jarvis and
Friends.
He rebranded it all.
Mm-hmm. And he's over on Twitch mostly. Is that right?
Oh, the Jarvis podcast. Oh, I'm sorry.
And you're over on Twitch now. Is that right, Steve?
If anybody wants to actually talk to him, he'll be on the show. I believe it's December 1st.
Yeah, we got some bookings.
And we got a bunch of people booking, and we just need two more for December, and then we're going to go on hiatus for Christmas.
For Christmas, yeah, because I got a cruise I'm taking everybody on.
He's not taking me, so fuck him.
I can't afford to take Mark. He's expensive. So while we're waiting for CJ Graham to show up, CJ was Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, Part 6. Is that right? That's right.
Yes.
So while we're waiting on CJ to work out all the bugs on this, let's talk about, we have a show coming up November 2nd. You are doing a salute to the military. You've invited myself to come on and
yes, I'm trying to find us a good co-host right now. To make it better, and instead of having you as my co-host that night, I decided that I wanted to make you as a participant.
Cool.
You're going to represent, of course, the Navy.
Yes, sir.
My younger brother, Chris, is going to be the Marines. My friend Wes Stevens is going to be the Army. Robert
Palmer
is going to be the Air Force. We're still looking for the Coast Guard.
But listen, I don't know if anybody knows what the Coast Guard is, quite honestly. I mean,
and they go and pick up people that are, stranded in the ocean. Oh, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour.
Hey, you guys. CJ.
There we go.
CJ, what's happening, brother?
Good. You guys are late. What happened? I thought we were going to start at 6.
Yeah, shit. Blame it on Brian.
Totally my fault. Sorry you had a problem with the link. It wanted your Facebook and everything, huh?
Yeah, if you go up for some reason, it may just be because it's not mobile app friendly that you sent me. Because on the mobile app, the phone just lights right up, but then you get stuck that it wants you to sign in to Facebook or YouTube to stream through their lines to you.
See, I could easily have made it where you could have streamed from yours too, and it would have just been all
now,
over.
when you open it on the big computer, you have to cut and paste your site into the web search for it.
Oh boy,
that's weird.
So you shouldn't have to cut and paste on the email. They should be able to just double click it and go right through it.
Right.
That's
normally,
right. Click the link.
Normally that's what happens. I send it and they just, bam.
But other than that, you guys, I was late. Sorry.
No, it's my fault, evidently.
Yeah, Maurice will tell you. Blame Brian.
That's right. So CJ, we like to start this off with, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, things are good. I'm actually sitting in Santa's little lounge here. Ruby, she does her killer wreaths, so I thought I'd sit in here and just put it as a backdrop. Otherwise, you'd have to look at a Jason mannequin.
Oh boy. We're okay with that. We would probably just be like, he's moving.
Right.
I actually like that.
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
want to
was
go?
looking at the wreath. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now you got to shout out her Miss Ruby's email or her. She's got a website for this or something, right?
Well, she goes. Well, it's not Twitter. She goes through the different smaller social media, but she goes by Killer Wreaths. So she learned to start making wreaths about a year ago, and it's kind of a fun thing for her. When she's home and there's time, she just jumps in her little Santa's hut here, and she either makes them for Halloween, Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever that is, but she adds a little twist to it: a signed hockey mask by Jason and a signed machete by Jason.
Wow.
Hey, Brian.
What do you want for Christmas, Mark?
There you go.
It's almost unfortunate that you don't want to put it on your door outside because somebody knows what it is, will take it.
Oh, mine's on my porch, and I would put it with all the rest of my toys.
Okay.
I got a bunch of stuff. I've the only person I have two different autographs so far, and one is from Ari, and the other one is from Kane Hodder. But I never got to meet Kane for that one. My wife got me that.
So you need a CJ Graham autograph.
Yes, I do.
So you definitely need a wreath.
Yes.
It's a business expense, gentlemen.
There you go.
Yeah, figure it out, Mark. Write it off.
Yeah, figure the marketing strategy. I'm not sure myself.
But yeah, we had Tom Matthews on here a couple weeks back.
Tom, he's a great guy. He's the principal, of course, of the movie and stuff, and he's just as humble as we are. 30 years later, that people still want to talk about it.
I figured when I got him, I was like, okay, let's see here. I got him, so I got to hound CJ and see if I can get him. It didn't take much, but a little bit of persuading. But I got you, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I get several requests, and it's just a matter of picking and choosing. It has nothing to do with the platform. It has more to do with the time frame. It's at 6 o'clock here, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm getting ready to put horses down for the night. So when I'm done here, it's now dark. I'll go down and get the horses in the barn. So sometimes the frame is kind of tough for me, so that I don't look like I've been just putting on a cowboy hat all day and running around. Here I am now.
So go ahead, Brian.
Oh no, I noticed the hat. It says veteran. What branch?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was in 49 years ago, before you were both born.
No. Wait a minute.
Almost. 46. I'm 46 years old.
Okay, I was in the military. You were still in diapers.
There you go.
There you go. How messy. Anyway, I was in the Army. I got the last 2 years of NAM, 74 to 75, and then over through 78 with the Cold War.
Oh, wow. So were you boots on the ground?
No, we were bringing people back in 73. Okay. So it was pretty much cleanup.
Gotcha. All right. The other question I wanted to ask you, I just kind of went through a little bit of your bio. I didn't get a whole lot of it. this was probably your first movie, is from what I gather. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a straight fact. I was the general manager of a nightclub in LA, and I just happened to do a stint with the Jason wardrobe. It just happened that the people that were shooting the production were the people that actually did all the special effects on part 4 with Ted White. So they had put me in Ted White's wardrobe. And from that point, they kept talking about casting me for Jason. And that was after 5 was already out. So 6 came along, and I got a phone call to come say hello to Paramount Studios.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. And now what about reprisal of the role? Because I know that there were talks. I know that there was a whole lot of things that went on with the franchise and all that stuff. But was there any talk of reprisal for you?
Yeah, I had an opportunity where I was I understand, even, Kane Hodder, you haven't met, but even Kane and our buddies, and he's talked about it, that 7 was lined up. They said just go with the last guy. But Kane, being the horror man he is, he talked to John, who was the writer-director and also special effects. And John then went to Paramount so that Kane could acquire. The thing is about that 7, 8, 9X, as much as that man has worked over the last 20 years doing, 30 shows a weekend, he's been a great ambassador. So I'm glad he got the part and then continued with it while I was doing my 25 years in the casino industry in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I wish that they would have casted him in Freddy vs. Jason. I think that should have been his role, but is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people, we're the quarterback. Coach puts us in. It doesn't matter which one of us, first, second, third. We're, as soon as they say your name, you're up and running. So, the quarterback.
Touchdown.
Yeah, the quarterback was decided by the writer, the director, and that's how I look at it. However, the assumption would be after 4, you must be satisfied with the product. But I will tell you, they wanted a bigger Jason. I know that factually because Ken is 6'6". They put him in a 2-inch platform to make him 6'8" for the movie.
Damn.
I was going to ask you who was the bigger Jason between you, Kane, and the previous.
You mean part 5?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, Dick is the smallest. Then Kane, I think, is just short behind you a little bit.
So you were the tallest.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", give or take 250.
Okay. Give or take 250, he says.
Well, it's true. On a good day, it's 247. On a bad day, it's 252.
Yeah, listen, I'm a well over that now.
Right.
I don't want to stand up now.
No, I still try to watch my section, you guys. You got to remember, like I said, you guys are in your late 40s. I'm 66. So do the math. When I eat stuff, it sticks to my thighs. So I try to be very conscientious about good steak and potato.
Yeah. No, I'm not conscientious about what I eat. I love food. So I'm like, all right, that's what I'm having. This is happening. Big old greasy burger. I'm like, oh.
Hey, yeah. I've had some pretty good burgers.
I have to watch my weight now. Eventually, they want to do the second surgery. I might let them.
For what? Your knee?
No, for my hips. I have a vascular necrosis in my hips. I already had one replaced when I was 30 years old, and now, I have to get my other one replaced.
It was probably the worst thing that Mark, I feel, has went through because he was on a lot of painkillers and stuff like that.
They messed it up.
And I would go over to his house, and I'm like, Mark, I can't hang around you if you're gonna fall asleep while I'm trying to talk to you, because he was just like, I'm in pain. I was like, I get it, bud. I get it. But where are you at now, Mark?
I am at since almost 90 days without him, without pain meds.
No pain meds.
No pain meds. So. And I have no pain. Well, minor pain.
Here's a question for you. Let me pop this up on the screen.
Geez, Maurice, you're taking away from my questions there. Damn.
Well, you're not asking them fast enough.
Well, no. I'm... How was your experience working with Jason Brooks on Vengeance 1 and 2, bringing Elias to life?
Okay, so I hate to always do this, but Richard, are you talking on Jason Brooks?
Yeah, on Vengeance 1 and 2.
That would have been Jason Brooks, who was the writer, director, and played Jason, right?
Yes.
versus working with whom?
Bringing Elias to life.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, that makes more sense than what the Brooks part. I flashed on Richard Brooker for some reason. I was trying to put 2 and 2 together on that one. But I will tell you, bringing Elias to life, being the first time that it had been brought to life, without what had been drawn up in a few comics here and there, was pretty simple, because Jason being an outdoor person, being at a lake, being at a campsite, pretty much set in stone what the father would look like or perceive or represent. Pretty much a woodsman with a long stringy beard, white beard, silver beard, and long silver hair. So playing the character was wide open because it had never been established. I didn't have to worry about Kane Hodder's walk. I didn't have to worry about Richard Brooker's walk. It was my walk. And the same thing when we did this. I got to come up with the old conceptual idea of how I'd represent myself, which was pretty simple, actually.
When I first seen you in it, I was like, wow. I'm like, he looks familiar. I'm like, and then it dawned on me like 10 minutes later. I'm like, oh man, that's CJ. I'm like, you got to play Jason, and then you got to play his father. It worked out perfect, and you did a great job at it too.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of the icing right there. You just said it. The fortunate thing, I'm the first person to put Elias Voorhees on film, on camera. Even though it may or may not be what you want to call independent or one of the films, fan films, etc. But the quality is so great in these fan films anymore. It's very difficult to dismiss them. So being now that Jason has a father established on camera, they really have to go a completely different direction, like a Terminator or something, to offset what's being created by Jason Brooks.
I love the fact. Well, Jason, he's a great guy. We've had him on our show. We've talked with him, like with Peter Anthony and stuff. They're all great, and I love the fan films because they, with Friday the 13th being dormant for as long as it has been, you have to sit there and think what's going to happen next. So watching these fan films, and then get to see you back on the screen playing a different character, and then you get to see Jason Brooks as Jason, and then you got Tommy in there too, and it just made it great for part 6, and then after it showed what should have been.
Yeah, Tom McLaughlin, writer director of part 6, has written a part 13. Jason Never Dies, if I say it correctly.
Yes.
And there has been some, he's trying to get that in front of the two characters that, Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Miller, and everybody's kind of hands off, even though I understand there's been decisions legally made in the last 18 months that everything is up for an appeal, I think. The unfortunate thing is what you just said. It's been lingering on now, and to be honest, the only reason we're having this conversation is because Friday the 13th became a franchise, a $1 billion franchise. And the only reason Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Miller are at arms, other than just personal, they got to remember that these folks made them lots of money on these films. And somehow I'd love for those two gentlemen to put something behind them so we can get one more out there, which would be part 13. And then hopefully by then the settling of the attorneys on both sides.
What do you think about the TV series?
I don't know anything about it. I know that
all that I know is it's going to be a prequel to it all.
And that would be great, but a secret is a secret, to be fair. So when you sit there and go, wish they get together, they may have already gotten together. So we don't know. Everything is an assumption and perception, that's reality. So they could be shaking hands right now, having a cheeseburger and enjoying themselves, waiting for this mysterious 12 months to come out with the series, which is very feasible. So never write anything off, right?
Right. I mean, I can't wait to see what the series actually brings, because they were talking, you hear bits and pieces of what, it goes from past to present. I'm just like, okay, well, if that's the case, then they had to have sat down and done something, because one owns one part of it, one owns the other.
Right.
So they have to go together. Otherwise, it's not Jason, or it's not, Friday the 13th without Jason Voorhees. Pamela Voorhees is one thing, but Jason is another. You can't just have Jason.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't know. You can say, God, I wish you gentlemen would talk to this gentleman. We forget, but they may have already forgotten and already be 2 years down the path. Using this as a launching platform into part 13. It's kind of it's bringing back, the 10 best scenes with Jason, so to speak, but in new form over a series, and then a launching platform into part 13.
I mean, that would be great. It really would.
Never know.
Right. Let me ask you, when you got to do the script and read it all, like you don't have any lines in the movie, but do they talk about your movements throughout? Like you're going to walk through, grab this, do that, et cetera, et cetera. And when you read that script, was there anything in there that you said, I don't really feel comfortable doing this? Or were you excited about the whole thing?
No, I was pretty simple. The whole thing was what I did. I know there was going to be some challenges, but as far as direction, Tom McLaughlin was very, very vanilla for me. He said, this is what I'm looking for as far as physical, how you walk, how you turn, your head movement. But other than that, he let you do your thing. He let you embrace what you were doing. But if he saw something you want to change, but I was fortunate enough that when we're doing things, it's like if you're going to take an axe and cut the cable line in a 4x4, or you better make sure you hit it hard so it takes a piece of metal. Otherwise, you kind of look like, well, that's a wussy Jason.
Yeah.
So there were things he didn't have to tell me, like when I hit the door coming out of the mobile home, nobody had to tell me to hit it hard so it would fly somewhere, but I had to still step out, and it was stuck in the hole. How was I going to step out? So I hit it as hard as I could, and very fortunately it flew, like cardboard, and it was a real door on the motorhome. We just undid the bolts for the side bolts.
Yep. So makeup wise, let me ask you this question. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a mask that Jason's wearing. It's more than that, correct? Because when you do a side view, it's an entire latex fit up, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot of people. You don't say anything, and when they have interviews with us, like now, a lot of our fans are like, wow, they can speak really good. That's because that was our requirement. But to answer the question in a direct way, when you put the mask on or the latex, your peripheral vision was already gone anyway, because all you could do is see a tunnel view straight forward in one eye. Everything else is gone for about 8 to 9 feet in front of you. So when you're walking step to step, you're actually putting your foot down in the blind. You have no idea where you're going to put it. So you put it down so forcefully to make hey, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm coming at you. But as far as any other directing, he was great. I mean, he loved Universal horror movies as I did, the old black and white. So we both had that similarity of what we thought. We were, just thinking, okay, that would make sense, because you go back, look at Frankenstein and the movement and the creativity of Frankenstein with electricity connecting.
Uh-oh.
It seems to be something of interest for all of us to view when you're watching part 6.
Read that out for him.
CJ, I have a question. If you could go back after you played Jason, if you were asked to play Michael Myers back, then would you?
So I guess, those are one of those questions. It was interesting when I was back in 86, 87, and 90-ish. At 6'3", 250-ish, there's not a lot of agents out there covering you. 5'8", 5'9" is the normal in the Hollywood circle. So we can be villains, but at the end of the day, we didn't have a lot of villains back then as we do today. We have all the DC and the Marvel, and some of them are thick and big, and others just have great built machines around them. The thing about it, though, it was really nice because I always thought, wow, I'd love to play Michael Myers. I'd love to play Leatherface and then come back in any other horror figure, because nobody at that time had dominated the horror market. Now, if I was to say that today, I would say one of the two principals would be Kane Hodder, not to mention Robert Englund has done a wonderful job in his role as Freddy. So I would say those are the two. But if you went back to the 80s, there really wasn't anybody from the 60s or 70s like Lon Chaney. And if you think about that, that's kind of where we moved to. We've been very fortunate with Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface, the four musketeers of the 80s. So we've been really fortunate. 3 and 4 decades later that we're having this conversation. So I'm very humbly appreciative for it. So back then I had taken the role. Now I'm going to throw you a curve, buddy. You know, real men use a machete, not an Outback steak knife. That's my 2023 answer.
Real men use a machete,
not an Outback steak knife.
That's right. Cool.
But he said if I could go back, would I? That's why I said, yeah, if I could have went back, that's what I would have loved to do.
Yeah. Do you feel like the Jason character and the Michael Myers character should have ever been in the same together in a similar universe in order to kind of duke it out?
Yeah, that's up to people like Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Miller. To be honest, I'm not a real fan of the Predator versus Alien or Jason versus Freddy or, you know, Michael Myers versus Jason. And the only reason I say that is that, you know, let's go back to the Universal Horror. When they started integrating all the monsters, we kind of got lost in the subject and the story.
Right.
So I don't think, my personal opinion, and remember, my opinion is like an ass. Everybody has one, okay? I would just like to see it where it's a Jason movie, it's a Michael Myers movie, it's a Freddy movie, and the crossover doesn't exist to keep the strength of each one of the individual films.
The crossover for Freddy vs. Jason was better in the comics than it was on film anyways.
And, you know, some of, like you just said, that some of these DC comic heroes and Marvel comic heroes, some of them have been very successful, while others just didn't get the hook for some reason.
Right.
So in my genre of being a horror fan, like I am a super big fan of Freddy Krueger. Absolutely. Freddy Krueger. Oh, stop it. Mark's not a fan.
I'm not a fan of Freddy.
I'm a big fan. So when they did Freddy versus Jason, I had to root for Freddy. I had to. I didn't have a choice. He's my guy. No, you got your favorite football team. I got mine.
My daughter, Freddy vs. Jason, my daughter sat there and she was 8 years old, going for Jason Voorhees. She did not like Freddy at all.
She didn't like Freddy.
No, she can't stand it.
There's not a lot of people that like Freddy, but hey, it is what it is. And that's why I asked the question as far as the, you know, having that Michael Myers and Jason, because at that point, I know that film directors and writers are like, okay, how do we write this to where we have the audience's attention? And that, you know, like I said, you have fan base for the Halloween franchise, and then you have it for the Friday the 13th franchise. That's why I asked the question, and I think it's a solid answer. I think that you keep them separate, but I think that there are little mentions here and there.
They got fan films for that.
Oh, I get that. I get that. All right, but do you see what I'm saying about little mentions here and there? Just having a little mention of
you guys,
Michael Myers.
You guys have to learn the Fifth Amendment, okay? All right, I refuse to answer on the grounds it may incriminate me.
Oh, I got you.
And just take. See, you didn't even know it, did you? Take the fifth step away from the conversation.
I got you.
Okay, I'm gonna put this question up. I don't know. Yeah, I know who would win this one, but all right, who would win a face-off? Part 6, Jason or Art the Clown? Well,
you know what? I'm going to do that politically correct answer, which would be that would depend on the content of the question. That's either being done in the city or being done in the country.
Okay.
Did that sound good though?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Makes way more.
These politicians bust me up. I'm sorry.
Even though I'll say it for you, Jason would whip the shit out of Art the Clown.
But you know that. Go ahead.
On a lighter note, what is the most random fact that you know?
Random
about wrestling.
Oh, wrestling?
Yeah.
Those are some serious athletes.
Yeah. Were you ever approached to be a professional wrestler or a boxer or anything like that?
No, I mean, there were a lot of people of my size that were doing Universal Studios up there playing Conan and stuff, and others that had moved over and migrated to the Van Nuys side of the valley with the wrestling. A good person I could mention, it was a Conan guy at one time. He was also Malibu on Gladiators.
Yeah. Okay.
You
I
remember
know who
Malibu? Derry?
Yes.
Derry?
Yes. Yes.
So anyway, you know, when you look at that, I mean, and then to come and, you know, go into doing what he did in the Gladiators, I mean, you start looking around in the 80s, there wasn't that much options for things with people our size. I mean, it was pretty limited. Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger, quote me if I'm wrong, but I think if he, on his best day, he's barely 6'2", and he's 230 pounds when he's at his best for shows, you know, 250-ish in the off season.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do that anymore, of course, but at one time, and he was considered huge with the Barbarian Brothers, two other bodybuilders in the 80s.
Right.
So you got to kind of, you know, you see how things change. Social media adds to it, and people's thought process change, or there's a little bit of a curve or the exit for some people. And it does get confusing when people ask, you know, what if, you know, because it's such a high substance that nobody can really have a good answer, and should not try to cram anything down somebody's throat. Just say, well, you know.
Totally understand. Totally understand.
Now, hold on, Brian, before you say anything else. What was your favorite? Do you have you probably get this asked all the time, but do you have a favorite kill that you did?
Oh, of course. My favorite kill, the sheriff. See, I made you wait because everybody's like, what? The sheriff to me is the best in part 6. And the reason is it's not blood, it's not guts. It's 100% pure power of snapping a spinal cord backwards.
I was going to say
the shoulders to touch the heels. Now, can you imagine the amount of pain that would inflict upon the victim?
Yeah, because I would think that would start with like a paralysis before. So that's the pain. That's the pain factor. And then all of a sudden it's just a numb factor. And then there's the separation, I would think, right?
And then you might have some blood, of course, through the midsection if you can separate it. But I think to me that was the best kill just because it implies a form of pain, blood, and guts internally, but you don't get to see it. You just get to hear the cracking of the bones as the back goes against it. And just so you know, that, you know, took 2 people to do that. Just so you know, there's a hole dug about 2 feet deep by about 3 feet in width or in length, and there's one person with their head down inside the hole with their butt sticking out, and then the actor backs up to the backside of the other person's butt. The way the coat was lounged, then he could bend all the way back on the other person's legs because he was in a hole.
Got you. Yeah, that was a brutal
kill. Yes.
The sound effects. Do you know how the sound effects are made for that portion of it?
I'm going to assume it was Real Effects, REEL Effects, who are the ones that actually discovered me at the nightclub that night in Los Angeles. They are the people who did the real effects in part 4 with Ted White, and then Real Effects did the special effects for part 6. So not knowing, or that's either going to follow under special effects or Harry Mancini, even though he's a composer, he put the music together that wasn't Alice Cooper's. I don't know how those relationships went. I think if I had to bet on it, I think it's somewhere over the production company at Paramount, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, see, Brian, I told you I wasn't going to put a video or anything else up, but I want to show you one of my favorite scenes of the movie because it's freaking.
You have
awesome.
A kill scene, don't you?
It's not a kill scene. It's after a kill scene.
Okay.
So hold on.
Mark's a little slow at this.
Just a little. It's not letting me make it bigger.
That's okay. Play the thing.
No, it's not going to play. It's just this site right here.
Oh, that the bus?
No, the RV.
Or the RV, I mean. And Mark's gone. Aha. All right.
Well, the shorty got 5 more people.
Yeah, I know. Check that out. He leaves.
What the heck, Mark?
The show grew, bro.
Okay,
damn. I don't know what the hell happened.
We had fun with you while you were gone.
But you know, that site right there alone, with him on top of there, and after he kills the driver and smashes the girl's face, Darcy Dumas's face, you know, that was one of my favorite scenes.
That's a great final kill picture, I would think too. My question is, was that in fact you on the RV?
Yes.
Okay, so there was no stunt double for you on that.
Well, I had to be a stunt double to do this. So everything you see Jason on fire, going through walls, doors, underwater,
that was
20 feet, breathe, that's me.
Really?
Everything is me. So the only scene that does not have me, and it's the only thing, is when people see the paintballs hit the med section, they say, okay, CJ looks a little thick because he's wearing padding. It's actually the first person that was cast for the film that was shot in the day, so they didn't reshoot it and kept it in the film. But if you see anybody else that's playing Jason in that, underwater, going through the doors, the walls, the shotgun jerk back, everything you say, that was part of the requirements to get the job. You had to do all your own stunts.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of why they went from an actor / part-time to a stunt to just having a full stunt person be the character, because then they could get 2 bangs for a buck when it comes to being stunts would be individuals, but the acting would be the same. It's all combined in one. And then I got stunt bumps every time we did a stunt.
So that's a little extra pay. Is that what that is? A stunt?
Yeah,
bump?
when you do stunt bumps, you get paid. And again, news to me, because it was my first film, but they were very honorable about it. You know, we're gonna do this thing with with to light you up in the back, and you're gonna get a stunt bump for it too. Okay, so every time they put me out and light me up, I get a stunt bump. Every time you go through the wall a second, a third time, you get a stunt bump. It's what the idea is you got to get through, like when you're going through a wall, you got to get that first foot down to ensure that you don't fall over going through the wall or the door. The biggest problem with that is if you do fall down, then they got to reset everything. And that could take 6 hours.
Oh boy.
You know, for people, stage workers out there, to rebuild a wall and a door and paint it and color it, and so we could make the shot again. So when you have a successful, that's a take. That's a successful savings for the company at the same time.
So they pass the savings along to you as well.
Not quite. We get stunt bumps. $1 is $1. It doesn't matter.
I'll take it.
If you do 1 or 5, it's still $1 each time. $5.
That's right.
This message is from Peter Anthony.
Who?
Peter Anthony.
Never heard of him. You sure he exists? Is it an alien?
He saw a video of CJ Graham a few years back benching 405. I don't believe it.
I got the
405?
405.
Wow.
Damn.
That is impressive.
Yeah, I think at the time I was 58, and I was at Gold's Gym in Rancho Mirage working out, and I just told Ruby it's time to stop lifting all the heavy weight. So let's put it on video one time so I can always say I did it. And threw the 8 plates on, and I don't use a spot. If you use a spot, you're gonna give up. If you don't put the collars on, if you get in trouble, you can dump the weight. Make sure there's nobody next to you because you don't want to hurt them. But
yeah.
If you're lifting by yourself, like I so much did, I could dump it if I had to, if I got in trouble.
Okay. Yeah,
I was doing 405.
That's crazy. 405
consistently. Yeah.
Damn.
So Gold's Gym's very popular for having known athletes go and frequent them. Anybody you run into at the gym?
Well, I'll give you an example. Let's go back to my era, because you got to remember that today's gym is not the same people I was working out with. But if you go back in the 80s, all of the people doing commercials, RA, who played Leatherface, Laser, Malibu, all these guys from the Gladiators, all of us were working out at the same gym in North Hollywood, Gold's, of course, and we'd run into each other because we would each talk about who's going on a call for what part, be it Miller Lite, be it Bud, be it AT&T, Colgate, Gatorade. And we say, hey, did you go on the call? Yeah, how'd you do? I haven't heard anything. Oh, I got a call back, but I haven't heard anything. It was kind of a big communication down there at the gym.
Cool. Let me ask you this. Halloween is literally right around the corner. Do you dress as your alter ego, Jason Voorhees, for Halloween, or do you dress up at all? Do you host parties? What do you do for Halloween?
Well, what do I dress up? Are they paying me to?
No, I'm talking about just for you personally in your neighborhood.
I guess everybody will do something for money, but What I do, just so you know, is I don't dress up whatsoever. If I'm home on the 31st, which this falls on I think Tuesday this year, which is odd, but you got to remember I was just in wardrobe last week at a convention, taking pictures with the fans, as was Warrington Gillette, as was Kim from Freddy versus Jason,
Right.
and we all were in wardrobe taking photos. So we do it. It's really just a timing situation. There's I think Spooky Empires this weekend, and that's down in Orlando, right?
I know.
So I mean, you got to realize a lot of those that are in the horror industry are kind of busy doing different things. I personally will be in Central Illinois doing a haunted house
on October 31st on Tuesday.
Well, Friday, Saturday this week.
Friday and Saturday. I'll be at a mud park.
What's that?
I'll be at a mud park.
Okay. So it just gives you an idea that, yeah, we do. But I don't do anything. If I can relax, I relax. I mean, I've got a ranch with horses, alpacas, and some bees. So like I said, when we get done here, I'll go out there and get those horses settled in the barn. So for me, I retired 6 years ago when I turned 60, but also I ran casino industries for over 20 years, gosh, up to 25 years in totality, from being a dealer, security guard, up to a chief operating officer. So that was my retirement. My blessing and opportunity was the fact that we had these fans that are 3 decades ago, and they've just turned this Jason thing into a franchise that's iconic.
Gotcha.
Okay, read that off the screen, Brian, because I'm trying to figure out.
Did CJ see Skinamarink? What is it? Skinamarink?
Skinamarink. It's a movie that Jamie Hill did. I have it saved on my. I gotta watch it yet.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if I'm in it.
Jamie will have to get back with you. So if not, he'll probably watch it.
He probably hasn't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it. I couldn't even pronounce it. So
Skinamarink.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? I think that's right.
One of these days, Jamie will be on our show too.
Okay. Did we ever get a question out of Peter Anthony, or was it we just buffaloed through him?
Oh no, he asked you about was it true that you binged 405, or he said that.
Yeah, that was him. That
he saw the video.
Peter Anthony used to be big. He's kind of normal now. You met him?
Yeah, I have not met him in person. He's been on the show a couple times. Yeah. I've talked to him a lot. He's a great guy, but I've not got to meet him personally.
Yeah, he's cringing right now because I said he's shrinking. So he's pumping it up right now, flexing his arms and giggling. I know exactly his personality. He's giggling right now, thinking about it, and he's probably got a T-shirt on that's too small. See? And he's laughing now. He's going to pop in and say, oh, man, is he in my closet? Because I know Peter's personality.
We totally sent Peter a talking shit shirt, and I told Mark, I said, Mark, you need to find out what size he wears, and then send him the next size up, because that was.
Hey, he put it on. He put it on.
It looked like he shopped at the Baby Gap. I'm just saying.
Most of his shirts probably look that way too.
I didn't. You know what? This is the Fifth Amendment.
CJ was a Chippendales dancer too. The Man Before the Mask. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, that's. I think it was in '87. I was down at Culver City.
Did you really dance?
Yes, I filled in quite a few times with some different things. What? In fact, Darren McBee, the one I was talking about that played Malibu, squared off with me as twin fighters over one lady for her birthday. So that's how I met Darren.
Wow.
So we all have junk in the trunk, so to speak. It's just that nobody's got any pictures to prove it. So we just say, I don't know anything.
There was a great series about the way the Chippendales was born to its demise. If nobody's seen that, I think they're still showing it on. Is it Hulu?
It's still out.
It is a really good show. So
I haven't watched it yet, but I'll believe you.
CJ, when you go out in public, do people recognize who you are?
Surprisingly, yes. Surprisingly, people that are really horror fans, they know each one of the Jason's picture. In fact, I'll give you an example. One time, I was going through TSA in Atlanta. I still remember, and the TSA agent looked at my ID and looked at me and said, "Are you the guy that played Jason?" And I looked at him and like gave him that look. Yeah. Oh man, I'm a huge horror fan. I said, "Well, you know Derek Mears for 09?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "See the guy back there, the bald guy? That's Derek. Derek, come up here." So Derek and I were, you know, again, the TSA agent knew my name. I had no idea, but every once in a while, if you're in town, they know who you are real fast. If you're out of town, like I live in Montana, but I'll still go to Albertsons and have somebody bring me their cart, and I'm thinking they're just bringing it to me to be courteous because they're done with it. I'm going through the parking lot, and the first question is, "Hey, are you the guy that played Jason?" And you know, I live on a very rural area with homes every quarter mile, if not farther. And every once in a while, my wife will meet somebody from a mile over, and oh yeah, you're the husband of the mass murderer. So somehow the neighborhood for a 3-mile radius knows.
Well, I would think. I mean, we had Tyreek Hill. I don't know if you know who that is. Do you watch football?
Yes.
So Tyreek Hill, number 10, now plays for the Miami Dolphins. Used to live here in our podunk little town.
Really? Really?
Literally, yeah.
That's
lived
cool.
lived in Inverness.
I did not know that.
Lived in a house of a previous client of mine. Yeah, absolutely. And I got to meet him 4 or 5 times. And every time I met him, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm starstruck or what it is. I just don't talk. I don't say anything. I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" That's it.
But yet you could talk to all these people on here and not have a problem with it.
It's different because we're talking through a screen. It's way different. I met Deontay Johnson, another fantastic receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I did his paperwork, and I was like, "Sign here, sir." That's it. I didn't ask for an autograph. I'm starstruck, you know. So no, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on our show because we're not a huge show. I know Mark was so giddy when he was like,
"Okay, come on!"
Oh my God, we are getting Graham on the show, and I was like, "Why does that name sound so familiar?" He was like, "Oh, you know," and then I did. I was like, "Oh my God, that's Jason. That's Jason Voorhees."
Well, there was 2 reasons why I said it. You know, I was very happy about this. One was because it was, you know, CJ Graham, you know, Jason Voorhees. You know, he was, you know, we already had Tom Matthews on here, who is Tommy Jarvis. So I, you know, having you, that made my, you know, best way of putting it, it made my birthday because my birthday was 2 days ago.
Happy birthday.
So, I mean, when your wife said, "Okay, the 24th," I said, "Oh, hell yeah." Well, not to her. I didn't say that, but I was like, "Oh, hell yeah." I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm like, hey, that's a good birthday present to me.
See, and you're still a young man.
Yeah, I'm only 46, so you know that's not bad.
Now,
we're definitely catching up. So I mean, I feel a lot older than I am. I think the military life and you know, just constant grind, I think is what's doing it. You know what I mean? It's just putting a hurting on me. My wife has a lot of honey-do list for me that I barely get around to because that list keeps growing for some reason. I cross something off, there's a new thing. I'll tell you the worst thing that I've accomplished and found out how old I was flooring. I did life-proof flooring throughout our entire house, with the exception of bedrooms and whatnot. I couldn't move for 3 days afterwards, CJ.
Oh yeah. Well, so, you men got to remember, you both could be my sons. Remember that.
We both have adult children.
But that's my point. And doesn't that sound weird? Because I'm 66, so you guys could be my sons, and your children could be my grandchildren. They could be saying, "Hey, Jason Voorhees was Grandpa."
There you go. I'm telling everybody that now.
Kind of odd.
That is really cool.
See, that's the benefit, just so you know, I've been very fortunate physical structure-wise to remain the same feature. You know, there's a lot of nice silver in here, but nobody ever saw the face as before. You mentioned Vengeance, and Vengeance 2, there's a great scene with Jason Brooks and myself where I put the wardrobe on from part 6 and come back in Tommy's mind because he's delusional momentarily that he's now fighting Jason Part 6, Jason Lives, rather than Jason Brooks, Jason. And then he comes back to his senses where he goes, oh my, and now he's fighting Jason Brooks again rather than Jason Lives. So there's some pretty good stuff there.
Oh, I love the movie so much. I had to buy them. I'm waiting for them to get done.
Somebody said that was a sick scene.
Yeah. It's who is it? I can't say.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
So look, you have a farm, horses. How many horses do you have?
We have, well, when I retired, 6 years ago, I turned 60 and I stepped out of the casino industry. And my first thing was to buy some land, ranch. You know, I've got 3 horses. I've got 4 alpacas. We've got some bees. We just harvested honey about 6 weeks ago. Cool. So, you know, I mean, to me, that's my retirement. I go out and pick up horse poop. I got to be honest. I think it helps keeping some structure physically, my shoulders and arms. But I will tell you, you know, going back to you, my back, I can feel it. You know, when I turned 58, I was feeling things more frequently. That's why I did that last bench, just to prove to the non-believers, not to mention I was still 58 years old, but I've done it ever because it's a very small percentage of us that get fortunate enough. As it is, they get fortunate enough to do a movie like Jason. So with that being said, you know, I done it. Here I am. And, you know, every day I kind of go out and just enjoy the horses a little bit. It's like I do have a couple motorcycles in the garage. I don't ride them as often as I should. And I should ride my horses more often too. So, but you know, they get spoiled. My little Hollywood horses, they love life.
So they don't get ridden much by you. Does your wife, Miss Ruby, does she ride?
She does. She rides. You know, Lady and her buddies, they walk around the backyard together, stand together, sit together. You know, she'll put a saddle on her and go riding, or she'll just throw a rein over her without a cup and just go ahead and, you know, jump on her bareback. And so they're like buddies. My Cashmere, you know, she's a Palomino. She's easy to ride. She's a sweetie to me. My paint is a little bit of a Diablo. His name is Desperado. Go figure. It's on his papers. And he's black and white and 2 blue eyes like a husky.
Okay.
Like a dog. And I got on him once about 6 years ago, and I got about 40, 50 feet before I was put into the wall. And I never got on him again. So, but I've kept him all this time, and now he's my best friend. I can call him from 10 acres away like a big dog, and he'll come running right up to me.
That's really cool.
But I ain't getting on him. It's just I don't have the skill set, to be fair. It's not him. On a 1 to 10, I'm a 4, you know, on a good day. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, you got to be an 8 to ride Desperado, and I'm not. And as your body going back to your back, the last thing you want to do is get bucked off at about 12 feet on a horse.
Yeah, I did. I think I've ridden horses with a friend of mine in Kentucky, and it scared me a little bit because he was like, "Yeah, my dad breaks horses, so we're going to be riding horses that are freshly broke," and it was fun. It was nerve-wracking, and then the thing I did learn was don't lay in a waterbed right afterwards.
You try to roll.
Oh yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. You just can't move. Like you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that I had muscles that I was riding this horse with. That.
Yep.
So, yeah, God bless you for having the horses too, because I know that they can be costly animals. Is that right?
Yeah, they're great. I mean, you've got to go through 10 tons of hay a year for 3 horses. But again, mine are spoiled. They get 3 meals a day, and when the front 10 acres is solid green, they stay out there for almost 3 months eating. And then they go to the back 10-acre parcel, and it's you know, fenced off differently, so it's got different types of grass. But they clear out the whole property except where the house is. They get on a lawnmower, you know, and ride around for about 6 hours, and then we go back to the back. It doesn't work for 3 days.
Oh boy, yeah. I see that. So I mean, are you on like a 0 turn, or are you on a tractor?
It's just a little 42-inch.
Oh, is it a 0 or is it the?
No.
It's a wheel, 42-inch rider.
It's a rider.
It's the rider. It's not the big ones. It's the one with the steering wheel. It's 42 inches, 2 blades underneath it.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, when
that's why it takes 6 hours.
Yeah, when the land isn't level out here and it's bump, but a bump, but a bump, but a bump every time you go, it's kind of like you always put your weightlifting belt on just to keep the back straight as you can, but you will feel it that night.
That's right. What events do you have coming up that you want to tell our fans and everybody watching to come find you at?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do a haunted house this week in Central Illinois. So it's Spook Hollow, Friday, Saturday night. And then I think the next 2 events coming up is going to be the second week of November, which is Monster Mania. I'll be doing Wardrobe with Alice Cooper. And of course, Dave, the promoter up there, puts on a great show. I think this is his 57th show that I'll be attending. I mean, I'll be attending them all, but number 57 for how many shows he had over the last 18 years. And then the week after that, I'll be in Chicago, Days of the Dead. Bill's that promoter, and I'll be up there, you know, playing, obviously be in the Jason role with another one of the Jasons and do some photo ops in wardrobe.
Okay, very cool. How about your social media? Do you do social media? I know Miss Ruby says she handles most of that for you.
Yeah, Ruby handles it. Yes, we have the Facebook, of course, CJ_Graham, and it'll say CJ's real Facebook because there's always somebody trying to copy. And then again, the CJ Graham Twitter. I have a website, jason6.com, where I have stuff for people to purchase that they can't make a show. They can go on there and pick a photo off and get it mailed to them. So it's pretty simple, but you know, I've been very fortunate when I retired that we could do this, and Ruby handles the social side, and she just got doing these killer wreaths on and on last year for fun, and she got so good people wanted to buy them.
Absolutely.
And then when she started putting in that machete and hockey mask, well, if you buy the machete or hockey mask online at eBay right now, they're probably $120 each, you know. So when you start doing the numbers, you go, well, gosh, I'm getting a wreath, I'm getting the autographs, I'm getting everything, and it's cheaper. So there's a lot of people are just love killer wreaths with that little bit of Jason Voorhees in it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up now.
And it's Killer. Is there 2 R's?
Yeah, and it's Killer Wreaths, WR.
WR.
Yeah, wreaths. Yeah, so it's Killer R. It's Killer, the last word R, or letter R, and then WRE. I'm looking up on the board because I'm trying to figure out how to spell it myself.
Is it WRETHS with the? Is there an S at the end?
It's WREATHS.
There we go.
So, but she's having fun with it, and the more important is she's got time in the day. And if I go to an event like this weekend, you know, she's hanging out the house taking care of business and the animals. So, you know, she'll have her friend come over at the same time. He gives her something to do throughout the day, and she's gotten quite good at it, as you can see.
Yeah. No, those look fantastic.
We
will absolutely check out the site and stuff too. So I just wanted to make sure that I had it right. So I'm not trying to scramble to
get a chance to look at it, send it through. She's got a nice little flow going on people. So she's having fun, I guess. You know what? I don't think there's a lot of money to be made on it more, but this, you know, by the time you send something of that size, it's $35 and all the above.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's losing money. I never mapped it out. She just came up with the price and said, well, and you know, build me this, and this is what I built her in one of our bedrooms. I took the bed out, and now it is her Santa room where she makes and breaks killer wreaths. And I mean, she makes and breaks them.
Yeah, it looks really, they look really fantastic. So we will make sure that we post that on our Facebook page as well, so that we can get people to take a look and see what she's got. And you autographed the mask that comes in the wreath. Is that correct?
Correct. They can come with a mask and a machete, both autographed.
Okay.
So you're getting 2 items of higher quality already autographed. And what I think, from what I understand we're doing, because she's been having me to get a picture of signing it once it's done to send the person for authenticity.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Yeah, because you don't want anybody else to be like, oh, I make these.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a Ruby item.
Yeah. Well, it's more importantly that the reason we take the photograph is for the signature authentication, that they see my name being signed. and they can say, "Yep, he signed that machete," because there's a picture of him signing it.
Yeah, perfect. so that they could sell it for more
if they want to. This is true. I think machetes and hockey masks are about $120 online right now on eBay each.
Perfect. Mark, do you have any other questions for CJ?
No, we're gonna let him go so he can get his horses to bed.
I know you done stole an hour of his time, man.
I'll bill you.
Okay.
Probably that Peter Anthony guy again.
Yeah.
Yes. Send it to Peter Anthony. We'll get his address for you.
Yeah.
I got that. So, but
CJ, it has been absolutely fantastic. Is there anything else that you want to tell your fans that are watching, our fans that are watching?
Everybody's fans. I just want you to know I appreciate it. The acknowledgement, the honor to do this. Listen, I don't take it lightly. I have fun when I'm out there at conventions. I'm one of the odd ones. I don't charge for selfies. And people come up and I jump up and have it, because if I wasn't as happy doing this, and if you didn't enjoy me as much as you do, this wouldn't be happening. So I'm pretty confident when I say this is for all the Jasons, because I talk to the guys out there, and I can't tell you, even Steve Dash and the ones that have passed used to talk about how great the fans were. So thank you for having me on your show and allowing me part of it. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, and happy Halloween.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See you later.
Mark, that was absolutely fantastic, bro. CJ Graham.
Well, that happened.
Are you still a little giddy girl or what? What are we doing here?
No. Pretty cool.
Are you super stoked?
I'm happy. Now I got to get his autograph.
He's super down to earth too, guys. So I think you got to talk to his wife. Miss Ruby was fantastic. You got to talk to her on the phone to get this set up for us to have for our viewers and our listeners. So,
yep,
guys, we did that for you. Mark says he did it mostly for himself because it was a birthday present.
No, actually, I did it because I wanted him on our show. It wasn't just about me for birthday or anything else. That was just a added plus.
And guys, we appreciate every single one of you guys that are watching and listening to us. If you have somebody in mind that you want us to get on the show, let us know, and we will absolutely do our best. I mean, we grind. Mark does most of the work behind the scenes, but Mark will blow up somebody's phone. He will email them.
I will try. I'll message them at first. If they don't answer, I'll message them again. You know, I don't just stay at one. You know, I'll do it a few times. There's a few other people that we want, and we have 2 slots. Like I said, 2 slots left for December open.
Well, listen, don't forget.
Thank you,
guys. We had last week. We had Nemo, aka Jaquarius, and we have Brewster, aka Terry Don, Jerry Dale Davis, on the show. They are known as Trap Masters.
They will be back on our show.
They will be back on the show. They've already said, hey, we'll come back on. We just had some technical difficulties because they were traveling to Michigan at the time to do some filming, which I think if you head over to Ed Bassmaster, I think if you head over to Ed Bassmaster on TikTok,
did you see
they did a video.
Did you see their newest one? One of their new ones? Where's
Which one?
Waterford? That was freaking funny. They're saying, "Where's I can't. We're in Waterford, but I can't find where we're at."
Oh, where's Waterford? Like where's Waldo?
You know, sort of, but it's a funny video. You have to watch it.
Watch it. You know me.
I had to laugh when I seen it. I seen it on Facebook this morning, or no, Instagram or something like that. This afternoon, but it was funny.
What you got? Real quick, let's do a quick rundown. So November the 2nd.
Hold on. Wait. Time out. Flag on play. We have something November 1st. That's going to be playing. We are going to finally get off our asses and pull the names. We are going to pull, we know for sure 2 names. I'm going to pull one. You're going to pull one.
Correct.
Now, the good question is would somebody like a free shirt?
Somebody out there wants one of our shirts. Are you going to do a separate drawing for that, or are you just going to pull their name randomly?
I think we're going to have your wife pull the name off screen. Her hand could be on screen to pull it, but I think Stacy should be the one to pull it.
We'll get somebody to pull it.
But
so November 1st, you're going to give away $25. I'm going to give away $25. My wife's going to give away the shirt off my back, and you're going to give away
a couple. We're going to give a couple some stickers away.
Cool.
It's not a whole lot, but this is just our first drawing.
And it's just to say thank you guys for bearing with us and dealing with us and putting up with our talking shit show.
Well, it's not putting up with us. It's
we're
enjoying allowing us to come into their home mostly every Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's go with the rundown.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
November 2nd.
After the drawing on the 1st, we will then have November the 2nd, the salute to the military. Mark is looking for his co-host, and there is a call out to.
I'm not saying.
Is it a male or a female?
I got both male and female that I'm talking to.
Smaller than a bread box?
No, bigger. No, we talked about it last week. Amber Brooke is the main one that I'm trying to get as the host, the co-host.
Okay, cool.
Because you said you wanted somebody pretty, so.
I'm just saying. I don't want to look at your ugly mug anymore. I'm just kidding.
I wanted somebody different than just us. Somebody that didn't have a military background. I don't have a military background, but I knew some stuff. Steven. But we're still looking for somebody from the Coast Guard. My wife said, "Why not the National Guard?"
I swear to God, I was about to say, if you say space,
no,
my
wife said, "What about the National Guard?" I said, Brian said, "No, they're like the little bitty army."
No, I didn't say that.
No, anyway, not like that.
They're army. They are army through and through. So after the 2nd, let's see here. We have
on the 9th.
Oh, no. The
9th we will have it'll be
playing. No, November 4th.
No, that's not live.
Oh, November 4th we're going to do a recorded
show. Would you put right there, it's not live?
My bad. Recording. Okay.
Okay, now let's go back. On November 9th, we will have Batman of Spring Hill.
That's right.
And he goes around, he helps kids and helps them through their tough times, and he's a really good guy.
So we're gonna get to see under the mask.
Yes, he won't be wearing the mask.
Bruce Wayne? Is it Bruce Wayne?
I don't think it is.
Is his name Bruce?
I don't know.
What the hell's his name?
Val? You go on his website and it says Batman of
Spring Hill. Yeah. All right. After that.
That one will be the Hypnotist.
That's right. Freddie. Let's see. Freddie Justice. Yep. Freddie Justice on the 16th at 8 p.m. Mark's supposed to reach out to him and see if
Steven, you want to come on and get hypnotized?
Well, we just need to see if anybody wants to come on to see if first of all, we need to ask Freddie if that's something that he can do or would like to try to do or anything like that. So reach out to him. Let's figure that part out.
Okay, I'll do that tonight.
If you guys need to get a hold of us, make sure you follow us on our Facebook. We have 2 Facebook accounts. We have a private account for talking shit, and then we have a talking shit fan page. If you'd like to be a part of the group and say whatever you want, we don't kick anybody out unless you are absolutely freaking asinine. Who was that one guy I was talking about drinking bleach and stuff? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh no,
we've had to boot one person out.
Yeah, we booted one person because he was being stupid. But we got one more after the. Well, we got two more after for November.
I don't have that on my list.
Oh, I do. I know exactly.
Okay.
November 21st, we will have Linda Cruz and Harmony from TikTok.
That's right.
They're a mother-daughter duo that dances and stuff like that.
What's their TikTok handle? How do you find them?
Linda Cruz or Harmony.
Okay.
And then, of course, at the end of November, we have somebody that you have tried and tried and tried. And
I actually have the man's phone number. I've texted him. I have, and finally, he has agreed to Mark's terms to come on the show. And his name is Bill Booth of
Outdoors.
Bill Booth Outdoors. He's fantastic if you want to learn something about catching reptiles and stuff like that.
I'm reading the message.
I know. I see that too. All right. So from us here at Talking Shit, Mark, I'm good if you're good.
I'm good. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Hold on. Wait a minute. We got to do one other thing before we get it.
Bitch, I'm in the